Hey guys, today is September the 3rd of 2022, and I'm recording this video from Hawaii, Honolulu. I'm here for a couple of days, and I'll be heading back, so my sleeping patterns are off. It's like 5:40 in the morning here, but back at home, I think is maybe 8 or 9, so that's why I'm up. I've been up super early. But I wanted to do a little update for someone that requested my thoughts on LIT. I'm assuming it's an ETF or lithium. So without any further delay, let's get into it. As if you see right now, I'm using data on the weekly chart from 2014. This is the max of data I could get all the way to now, current prices. And there's two, but there's one that is the strongest and is the most dominant, and is the 188. You can see that the 188 hits a trough somewhere around June, the first week, last week of June, first week of July, somewhere around there. It hits a trough. That's when the cycle bottoms out, and then the cycle goes up. And the correlation is pretty good. It's pretty strong. Now, the question you may ask is lithium going to go straight down? No. If it's going to go down, it's going to go down, if it's going to go down, it's going to do it, at its own style, its own vibration. Meaning that it could just kind of consolidate and go sideways, and then you get a nice little spike down, like the Netflix. If you see my Netflix video, or it could go up and do a head fake and then go down, or it might not even go down at all. It might just kind of just continue doing what it's going to do. As they said, price is king. But if you kind of follow cycles, and they 100%, they don't work 100% all the time, but they just kind of give you a guideline of where prices could possibly go using probability. So I would say if it continues making lower highs and lower lows, then this cycle is really affecting it really strong. If it kind of makes lower highs, lower lows, and then it just kind of bases off like somewhere around here, around 59, and just goes sideways, and somewhere around April of 2023, it gets this big flush down, then that's the kind of pattern I would probably see. I've seen it most of that time, but that doesn't normally play out like that. It's just going to just do its thing. What I always tell my followers is that be cautious, because the cycles are down. It's very risky to go long when the cycles are going down. Now, when the cycles are going up, that's when I say, pedal to the metal, buy every swing low, because the cycles are in your favor. Right now, the cycles are not in your favor in regards to the weekly. So let's go into, and then another one is this 354, which is not really that strong, but I figure I'd show it to you. It's hitting a top right now. And the correlation is not bad. It's 0.59. And right around July, it's hit a top, or actually August, and now the cycles are going down. So this one's going further down, but this one is not as strong. So that's why I'm not really, give it too much importance. The 188 is the strongest one because it's the dominant cycle. So I just recommend cautious on going long and holding, unless you got the stomach to hold. If it goes down, continue going low until find support. Even at 38 or right there, because there's a support of 38 right here, and there's one over here at 56, a swing pivot low that you want to keep your eye on. Let's go to the daily and see what the daily chart is saying. Okay, so here is the daily chart, and I'm using data from 2017 of October all the way to current prices. And there is one that is the strongest. And I'll also show you the dominant cycle, which is 49. It's a little more fractal. It goes up and down quicker. But, if you do a composite, it might probably give you an idea or an edge, or what, using a composite, what it could do with the 241. So the strongest one right here, using this time set, is 241. And you can see that the cycles are up all the way up to October. You can say the first week of October of this year, the cycles are up. So, you just have to, it's got to be cautious, because, it could continue going higher, and then October possibly make a top or swing high, and then continue the trend with the weekly. So that's how you kind of have to look at these two charts with these cycles. Now, now I'm going to take that out, and I'm going to put the dominant cycle, which is the 49. It's a little more fractal, you see. Sometimes it works. You can see that here. Let's open it up a little more. Here it went up, prices went up, Came down, prices are kind of going up. They kind of go sideways while the cycle's down, and now it kind of went up. So this is, you see, so picture this as the weekly. Imagine this is the weekly chart and it's going down. You see how just prices from here just kind of went down, but then went up and then kind of went down and then kind of had like a little flush, and it was kind of like a head fake close to the turning point. That's a pattern that I've recognized. I've seen a lot in the bigger time frames, and then it goes up, but it went earlier than the cycle low. Those are the little nuances you pick up by looking at, a lot of different charts and cycles, especially on the weekly, from the weekly to the daily. And then the cycles are going up. You see how price action put a low earlier than the cycle and it went up, and now it kind of topped out earlier than the cycle peak. So those are the little things you start picking up. So you start thinking, okay, so we're getting close to the cycle peak, so it may probably stall out even before for people to get ahead of the turn. And then look, now it's going down. And this is the dominant cycle. So the dominant cycle goes down to September, you could say 17th, and then it goes up to October the 12th, around there. So looking at the 241, we already know that that one is still up, and it peaks up around October, the 8th, around there, kind of lining up with the dominant cycle, which is 40 now. So if you put both of them together, what you do is you create a composite. This is what the forecast is. So it could go down and somewhere around the 13, 12, 11, 12, 13, it starts pushing higher, and then it hits a peak somewhere around pretty much the same time frame from the 241 cycle. So that's something, for you to ponder and to assess if it's a good strategy, somewhere around, depending on price action and volume, and whatever signal you use to go long. If it looks like it's playing out, then keep your eyes on October the 10th, 11th, maybe like the second week of October for a possible turning point. So that's that for this chart. We'll go to the next clip. Okay, this is the last clip. I always like to see the yearly chart, just kind of see what the price action looks like on a yearly basis. And you can see that we already hit from this swing low of 2015 all the way to this $97 of 2021. That's 7 bars. That's 7 years. That's a number that Gann always said to be on the watch out, be on the lookout. And we have been going 7 years up. So could be that maybe we're stalling here. I don't know. But 7 is not really a good number. It's normally a number of contraction, things kind of like pulling back, restriction, kind of resistance, a wall. So just keep that in the back of your mind. 7 years into going up, just kind of popped out at me. Looking at my midpoint chart, you can see that on the daily, on the weekly, and on the monthly, we are below our previous 50% range or level. This is the 50% range. And you can see that we now are below it. On the daily, we're below it, 72.22. On the weekly, it was 78. Last week was 78.24. And now it's going to be, now for this week, it becomes a 74.10. And on the yearly, last year's 50% level was 76, and now we're pretty much below it. What's the next support? Well, you can see 54.88 at the big level. That's the low. Over here on the monthly, support will be 69.57 if it pushes down there. And on the weekly, I won't bother because this is a little more fractal. You can see 70, 40 on the daily, and on the weekly, it's like 69.92. Next chart I want to look at, this is what I call the squeeze play chart. It kind of tells me what the pressure is building into, and the pressure looks like it's building to the downside using the monthly chart. See that we're chopping around this range of 97.13 all the way to 61.67, and you can see that the pressure momentum is getting slower and weaker. On the weekly, you can see that we're below the 50. We're now right below the 20, battling the 100. The 100 SMA is this dashed line. And you just gotta, we've been having a sell signal, PPS sell signal of January. We've had a sell signal. And now on the weekly, we have a sell signal. And you can see that we had a squeeze play set up and it exploded on August. But then it made this high here, and then it just kind of fell down, which is this one right here. Looks like it wanted to go higher, but it's now pushing lower. And this is kind of the thing I see when the weekly cycles are down. It's kind of like it wants to go up. You see, like here is like we're ready to rock and roll, but then we just kind of pull right back down. It's like the weekly cycle is like, from what I see, in my opinion, it's just kind of like affects it. Like it doesn't want to go, but like if the weekly cycles were up and this is the price action we have in the weekly, in my opinion, you know what? It could continue pushing higher because everything is, going forward, going up. But just kind of just showing you what I see things, in the chart. You can see now we have a blue line here. So there's weakness kicking in. This is the daily chart. That's that high. So you can see a Tom D mark. We hit a 13th candle right here. And then we just kind of sold off, got this big gap. So now you're below the 50, you're below the 200 SMA, which is that green line. You're below the 20. You broke this level, so it was a breakout to the downside. Trying to, fighting to stay above the 100, but fail, chopping around there. And on the 12-hour, you're below all the moving averages, the ones I follow, the 200, the 100, the 20, and the 50. Let's go to our simple glance chart. You can see the linear regression channel is pointing down. Let's open this up a little bit. There's a point of control here. I'm using 3 years. Point of control is at 71.28. You're now below the cloud. Hit the tip of the linear regression channel. The cloud is forecasting negative. Also, it's pointing down. You got a MACD sell signal. Volume last week was very negative. So doesn't look too good here. Let's open this up. Value area high was 92. Value area low using 3 years is 54, which is that low right here. There's also a little support area around here, 61, 63. But that's what the daily is showing, weekly is showing. You're still above the 200 right here. You're fighting the 20 on the weekly, which is right here, trying to stay above it. On the daily, I'm using 3 months, and you can see ever since the 26th, it's just been negative. And you had a MACD sell August 17, PPS somewhere around the 18th. It's been negative. Now, the good thing is that it's finding support at the linear regression channel. So it could turn around because the daily cycles are pointing up. And they kind of go up to like October, the first, second week of October. So it could try to go up here and maybe stall somewhere around here. This is a strong level, 75 or even at 76. Kind of chop around in the cloud, trying to get out and then maybe go back down. And that's just looking at the daily cycles. So maybe there could be some bottom feeders come in here. If it pushes even lower to like 70, or maybe like a bear trap, and then pop it up and maybe kind of like go up and just kind of stall around here and maybe follow those cycles on the daily. But overall, the weekly is down, so that's why I'm concerned. And short midterm, this is a weekly. You can see that price action now is below the cloud, so it's showing some weakness. And on the daily, it's just kind of chopping around. Hopefully you like this video. I thought I was going to do LAC, but I'm running out of time. I have to head out and do some stuff. But maybe this will help you with the lithium play on the LIT. And I'll keep you posted on my thoughts on lithium.